The story begins with a newly married couple who have recently moved into an old bungalow that is over 100 years old. As they stepped inside the house, the wife, Alice, said to her husband, David, "Will you go upstairs and check?" David replied, "I'll sit outside for a bit." Just then, he noticed a shadow-like figure in front of him, as if someone had just passed by. He walked toward the backyard and saw a manhole there. This manhole looked strange, just like the ones shown in old horror movies where ghosts come out from. Now the story jumps 5 years ahead. The couple now has a son. Let's call him Billy, Cat. One day while David was dropping Billy off at school, they passed by a public toilet. Billy said, "Dad, my friend told me he saw a ghost here." The inside of the toilet was covered with strange drawings and writings all over the walls. Something felt off. After dropping Billy at school, David returned to his office. He worked as a film censor officer. That day he had to review a film titled 1902. It was based on a true incident. At first the movie seemed normal, but as it progressed, the story turned horrifying. It showed that a man had murdered his wife, and the incident took place in the same bungalow where David and his family were now living. Back home, he shared this with Alice. She was shocked, but David brushed it off, saying, "Oh, this is all superstition. We're living here peacefully, so there's nothing to be afraid of." A few days later, the couple had to attend an office party, so they called a maid named Sophie to look after Billy. At the party, David noticed his wife getting a bit too friendly with a long-haired coworker named Alex. Alice understood the expression on David's face and immediately clarified, "It's just an office friendship. Come on, let's dance." The next day, David remains restless in the office. Thoughts of that long-haired man, Alex, and the closeness between him and his wife keep swirling in his mind. On his way home in the evening, he looks toward the wall and is suddenly startled. He sees a dreamlike vision where a man is killing his wife. Suddenly, he hears some noises from behind the wall, but when he looks, there's nothing there. The next morning, when Alice kisses David before leaving for work, David still feels uneasy. He decides to find out the truth about Alex. He sits for hours at a nearby cafe, spying on his wife. By evening, Alice indeed enters a tall building with that man. Just then, David receives a call from the school. "You forgot to pick up your son." After bringing his son home, and when Alice still hasn't returned, David heads toward the same building. What he sees there shatters him completely. Alice and Alex are in an intimate situation. In a fit of rage, David picks up a nearby hammer. But when he comes outside, even in his anger, he controls himself and throws the hammer away. He then goes into a nearby restroom and starts vomiting. Inside, he is completely broken. A pair of black shoes is seen near the restroom door. Someone stands there for quite a while. Suddenly, David starts feeling uneasy. When he looks up, he senses something strange. Somehow he manages to walk out of the restroom. His vision had become blurry, but he felt as if his wife was standing in front of him, and a man dressed in black was pushing him and taking him somewhere. David returns home. The kids were already asleep, but his wife hadn't come back yet. He called her, but there was no response. The next day, David went to the police station to file a report. The police asked him, "What time did your wife leave the office?" David replied, "In the evening. She told me she'd be doing overtime till late at night, and besides, there was no fight or argument between us." However, David didn't tell the police that he had followed his wife. After returning home, David was comforting his son when he suddenly saw a shadow in the mirror. He turned around, but no one was there. Shortly after, the police informed him that a man had come to the station and confessed that he was Alice's boyfriend, and that their relationship had been going on for the past year. One officer jokingly said, "What if you were the one who killed her?" David angrily replied, "What kind of question is that?" Before asking me, "Ask that man." But the police started suspecting David, thinking he had a strong motive driven by anger and revenge. Soon after, the body of a woman was found in a nearby canal. It was confirmed that it was David's wife, and she had died by drowning. Forensic investigation suggested it seemed like an accident. But then another shocking detail came to light. Alice was pregnant. After the funeral, David confided the truth to his trusted friend Claire at the office. He said, "I never told the police what I really saw that night. I could have caught them red-handed, but I just walked away." Claire says, "You should have told everything to the police." David was scared. "If I told them that I saw my wife with someone else, the police would just assume I killed her." After that, David's behavior started to change. Every day he would place a camera outside the bathroom to record. He also began investigating the history of his bungalow, and to his shock, he discovered that years ago, a man had killed his wife in that very house because of betrayal. And the most terrifying part was that the face of that old murderer matched the man David had seen in the bathroom. Now David couldn't even convince himself. Had a 100-year-old spirit returned? He brought a camera from his office and started recording everything in the house. He began with a test recording of the bathroom. But when he watched the footage, he was stunned. A shadow appeared behind him in the video. David then began recording every room: living room, bedroom, door, balcony. And in every piece of footage, a mysterious shadow was seen appearing and disappearing. At night, he started hearing strange noises from behind the walls. Terrified, he called the housemaid, Sophie, and said, "You listen too. Can you hear these sounds?" But Sophie said, "I don't hear anything." Just then, their son Billy came out. David told Sophie, "Put Billy to sleep. I'm hearing something here." Sophie left, and David began breaking the wall with a hammer. But nothing was found inside. After a while, he sat on the stairs, lost in deep thought. Suddenly, he heard another strange sound outside. He went toward the backyard and saw that the manhole cover was open. David places it in the right spot, and as soon as he turns around, he sees someone staring at him. The window is exactly of the room where Billy was. He runs into the room. When he opens the door, both Sophie and Billy are found safe and sound. But David was now frightened. He immediately got them ready and said, "We're leaving this house. Let's go somewhere else." Sophie didn't quite understand but replied, "Okay, as you say." After that, David called Claire to the house and directly showed her the recording. In the video, the same man was visible who had pushed his wife that night, and it was the same face as the man from that 100-year-old murder case. David said, "I saw this man in the bathroom too." Claire laughed and said, "Dude, have you gone crazy? These are just movie-type things. This doesn't happen in real life." Claire left, but David's doubts were turning into belief. A little while later, he started a video call with Billy, but suddenly a shadow appeared in the video. He told Billy to turn the computer around and show him. What David saw scared him badly, and he rushed to the hotel where Billy was staying. He started banging on the door, but when the door opened, there was nothing unusual. He picked up Billy and took him straight home. Now even Sophie was getting worried. She started feeling that David was mentally breaking down, but she stayed because she was concerned about Billy. She told David, "Look, I'm only staying here because of this child. Otherwise, I would have left by now. If something's going on, just tell me clearly." David replied, "Sophie, don't ask anything now. It's better for you to leave this place first thing in the morning." By nightfall, David's behavior became even stranger. For some unknown reason, he suddenly woke Sophie up at midnight and locked both her and Billy inside the storeroom. It seemed like he had sensed some kind of danger. The next morning, when David went to drop Billy off at school, he saw a woman in the bushes on the other side of the canal. He asked Billy, "Did you see anything?" Billy replied, "Nothing at all." When David looked again, there was nothing in the bushes. The next day, he went back to the same spot with a camera and started recording. Suddenly, strange noises began coming from the bushes. David got scared and told Billy, "Hide, son." The same woman appeared again and slowly started moving toward David. He closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, the woman had vanished. When he went to return the camera, he ran into Claire at the office. Claire noticed that David seemed very different. He was acting kind of crazy. She suggested he see a good psychologist before things got worse. But David didn't listen to anyone. When he got home, he scattered flour near the door, so if any invisible force entered, he could see its footprints. That night, while he was sleeping, he once again saw that 100-year-old man in his dreams. David woke up startled. It was just a nightmare. But when he got up, he noticed his water glass was missing. Just then, the police arrived at his house. They informed him that a hammer was found near the canal, and it had David's fingerprints on it. The police asked, "This is the same hammer that went missing the night Alice disappeared, right? Now tell us, what do you have to say?" David said, "The house I'm living in. There was a murder here once. A husband killed his wife because she cheated on him. I believe my wife's murder was committed by that same spirit. I even have video evidence." But the police dismissed his claims as nonsense and took him to the station. They believed David was pretending to be insane to avoid punishment. The police also said that for Billy's safety, he would be sent to a children's home. David refused to accept that he was mentally ill, but now the decision hinged on the mental evaluation report. Back home, David once again looked toward the wall he had previously broken. There, he found a bag containing some old photographs. At that very moment, strange sounds came again from the backyard. When he went to check, he saw several strange footprints on the ground, leading straight toward the drain. Following the tracks, he reached the sewer. Inside, he found another bag. When he opened it, he was shocked. It contained the corpse of a newborn baby. Terrified, David dropped the bag and ran away. After returning home, he called Claire and said, "Watch this video again. This is the truth." Just as he was about to play the video, Claire said, "Last night you called me. You were crying a lot and saying that you wanted to reveal the truth about your wife's death." Claire said, "If you really killed your wife, then I will go with you to the police and confess everything. But I think you're emotionally broken, and all of this is just a delusion in your mind." After that, Claire started consoling David and said, "Forget the past and start a new life." But David remained silent. He said, "Watch this video first. You'll understand everything." As soon as the video played, a shadow of a woman started appearing, slowly moving toward the camera. Then she came out of the wall and suddenly pulled Claire away. As soon as David saw this, he ran and picked up his son to escape. But the police were standing outside. They had heard the woman scream from inside and assumed David had harmed Claire. David ran into the sewer with his son. The police followed behind. While running, David's mind began flashing with the whole truth. Actually, Claire hadn't seen anything in the video, and David, in a fit of rage, strangled her. It was David who had killed Alice too. During an argument by the riverside, he had pushed her. Now David was extremely terrified and kept running. There he once again saw the spirit of his wife. Panicking, he grabbed his son in his arms and jumped into the water. As he sank underwater, someone grabbed David, but in his final moments, he pushed the child upward. The police arrived just in time and saved the boy. David's body remained in the water. Sometime later, the child's grandmother came and took him with her. They decided it was time to sell that haunted house. As they were about to leave the house, Billy, the boy, said, "Grandma, I forgot to take my toy." When he went back inside and reached near the wall, he noticed a crack in it, and behind that crack, David was peeking out. The grandmother then took Billy and seated him in the car. On the way, Billy suddenly unbuckled his seatbelt and opened the car door. The camera cuts in the next moment. Now, Billy is back in that same old house. He closes the door. The caretaker who looks after the house sees him and gives a strange smile while staring at the door. This is where the film ends. Let me know your thoughts. Also, subscribe to this channel for more horror stories like this.